Securing digital assets, trust in custody solutions. And now I would like to kindly invite our moderator as well as our speakers. Moderating this panel is Dea Markova. Welcome back, Director of Policy at Fireblocks. And our panelists include Andrew Ranges, Chief Revenue Officer of Blockdaemon, Eugene Chung, Chief Commercial Officer of OSL, Georgia Pellizzari, Chief Product Officer and Head of Custody Hex Trust, and Ethan Wang, CEO, Liquidity Tech. Over to you.
All right. I was trying to get a cue from our photos of who's who, but I guess we'll let you remember. Hi, everyone. Thanks for staying back. We appreciate we're the last conversation the end of a busy week, towards the end of a busy week and before drinks as well. My name is Dea. I lead policy at Fireblocks. I'll ask my panelists to start by quickly introducing yourselves and your business with a sentence or two. Then I'll ask a few questions that I have in my mind, but also to the audience, guys, we're a small enough group by this point. If you have a question in mind, keep it there, and I'll give you a moment to ask it towards the end of our panel. I hope you can hear me well enough. There's a bit of a background noise, all right? So let me start to my left.
After you, Georgia. Yeah, please.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Georgia Pellizzari. I'm Chief Product Officer and Head of Custody at Hex Trust. If I were to summarize in one sentence what we do, I like to think we deliver confidence. When people think about digital assets, it's very easy to think about uncertainty, risk, and complexity. And Hex Trust, since 2018, has been working to make institutions feel confident about entering digital assets, starting especially from custody, and then building value-adding services from there across staking, markets execution, structured product, stablecoin, and more.
Thanks, Georgia.
Yeah, thanks. I'm Andrew. I'm a CRO at Blockdaemon. We're an infrastructure company, so we're on the tech provider side. We're not a custodian like some of our panelists here, but we support many custodians, wallets, protocols, TradFi, customers, very large institutions globally, infrastructure platforms, so blockchain access, staking. We have our own key management, and recently we acquired a DeFi company as well. Very focused on institutional trading for DeFi. We acquired the company of Cumberland. So, you know, this topic is really near and dear to our hearts. Like for us, security is job zero. Everyone in the company is focused on security. And, you know, we've seen this world where people have spoken about security and compliance, but it's really been the second or third thing they've really focused on. And I think what's changed this week and this year is security is like the top thing. And I think we'll unpack like how we think about that during the panel.
Thanks, Andrew. Eugene?
Good afternoon. My name is Eugene. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for OSL. I think a lot of people know OSL. We are the first license exchange in Hong Kong and also list company in Hong Kong. Right? A lot of people know us about that's kind of like our DNA. But I think this year we actually there's one big initiative. Basically, we want to go global. We actually get a license from other jurisdictions. We are actually thinking about as a regulatory changes. It's very good to position us as a global payment infrastructure as well as a stablecoin infrastructure. So that's actually our strategy for the near term. And of course, this definitely also comes with distribution and custody hand in hand. So, yeah.
Thank you. Ethan?
Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Ethan. So I'm the CEO of the LTP Hong Kong. LTP is a digital assets prime broker. In terms of the trading volume, we are the #1 in APAC and Europe. Every day we process about $10 billion trading volume, and we account for about 3% of the total global crypto trading volume. And we have offices in Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, Dubai, and Spain, London, and maybe later in New York. So we are a global operation team. It's very glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Homegrown and local and global. Let's start with what I assume is the main question on everybody's mind when we think about custody in Hong Kong. We all know that the regulators here are consulting on a new regulatory regime, both for custody and for brokers. So for the three of you that are operating regulated businesses, I would quite like to just start by addressing the question to your core. How do you think the market is going to change after the proposed, I'm still in consultation, but how do you think the market would change after these regulatory proposals, and how is your firm preparing to address them? I think, Georgia, let's start with you again.
Thank you. That's a very good question. I'll start from the second part. I would say we're not preparing because we've been there for a long time. Our founders, Alessio Coglini and Rafał Siniaski, they come from a past life at the regulator in banking, financial services, digitalization of financial services specifically. So from day one, the choice has been on-chain segregation when it comes to client assets. So that's expressed in a both technological manner, in the fact that the wallets we deliver to our clients are on-chain auditable. Anytime you can grab your address, check on public explorers, and you'll see only your assets there, nobody else's. But also legally. And we started in Hong Kong, that was 2018, so it's been a while. Then we expanded in other jurisdictions. But we never really changed our fundamental principles. And we were also the first custodian licensed in Dubai, so we actually really work closely with the regulator there also to really tell how custody is done. So in that respect, I want to say we're ready. But being ready is not something one is and it's over. You're constantly ready. Things are constantly changing. Look at implementation of travel rules in other areas. I think sooner or later that will come as well. So for us, it's an ongoing effort. And how things are going to change in Hong Kong, I think they're going to change for the better. I don't even thinking, I'm sure of it. And going back to my initial point about the adoption for institution of digital assets, it's all about confidence. So confidence comes also from regulatory clarity. And what the upcoming regime is going to bring is added clarity to Hong Kong as a jurisdiction. And that will bring more business, more, in my opinion, liquidity, capital, and really make Hong Kong even more a thriving business to do digital asset business.
So if I can just push you on the last sentence, you said you expect to see an inflow of assets rather than outflow of assets.
Yeah,
regulatory.
absolutely. I
don't disagree, but I thought it's a nice soundbite. Eugene, you also knows what it means to have received a license, a crypto-specific license from the SFC recently. How are you looking at these proposed changes?
Sorry, I have to correct you. We received license not recently. We received license about 4 years ago.
Sure.
Right, so we definitely also, we are not preparing, we always there. It's always our positions. Especially if you start at the first licensed players, like 4 years ago, it's actually not easy to get regulated exchanges, right? Because like, there's a lot of things, because of regulation, you are not allowed to do, and also do very fast. One example is staking, right? You have to wait for the SFC approval, and it would take a few times, and a lot of education with the regulator before you can allow to offer that, right? Versus some maybe other jurisdiction or other players, they probably just like make sure the code is right, the auditing, everything. Of course, not as simple, but definitely a lot of flexibilities compared to a regulator trading platform versus the custodian, right? But I want to share two things. We believe. We've been waiting, and then finally the time came. I think one of the biggest trend or shifting change is actually not the inflow of assets, it's the inflow of institutions. So we definitely seeing a lot more institutions coming, right? Of course, after Trump got elected, but from the east side, there's a news about there's a Hong Kong security broker. They can start offering the virtual assets business. There's a stablecoin ad, right? I mean, of course, LTP is one of our potential it's an onboarding process right now, and then also the stablecoin. So we've been involved a lot of active conversation with the security broker, with the banks. We talk about the invest crypto asset. We talk about use blockchain as a payment infrastructure. We talk about the RWA. So I think that's really good thing to have a licensed regulated entity in Hong Kong, because those financial institutions, first they won't trust unregulated exchanges, and the second, honestly, by their license, they don't even allow to. So, and then I think the second thing that we want to see is like we do see the regulator in Hong Kong. They're definitely listening, right? There's a big announcement a few days ago, which is one allow the liquidity from the overseas exchanges. Basically, we can combine one order book, which is kind of very important, especially we want to offer global business. Right, and the second, the custodian, because right now, actually, before that, when we want to list any token, they will consider as a listing process, which will take much longer time, right? And then after 12 months, so there's a number of things that we actually keep talking to the regulator. And then they did respond. So we also consider that's a very, very good positive basic development.
Thank you. Ethan, how does this world look from your business model?
Yeah, I think Hong Kong's regulatory approach is very good, and as we have operated in multiple jurisdictions, and we discuss with a lot of regulators across different regions. I think the Hong Kong's approach is very clever and very comprehensive. And we have, back in April, August, we have participated in a few panel discussions with the new consultations, and also we have talked with the regulators about the VA dealings and the VA custodians. And I think we, at LTP, right now we already operate under the regulatory framework. In Hong Kong, we have type 1, 2, 4, 5, 9 license. We have already do the VA uplift. And maybe next year, when the new VA regime come out, we will apply for the VA dealing regime. As for the VA custodian, we are not intending to build the infra by ourselves. Instead, we will partner with the existing players like the Hedera Trust or OSL to use their the existing infrastructures. So, and also, recently in Hong Kong, the regulator have released, they are considering to issue more VA license, like the VA advisory or the VA asset management. It's more like the traditional part, type 1, 2, 4, 9 license. So in general, I think the Hong Kong, the regime is quite comprehensive. Thank you.
Fair. And for what is worth, you've been getting so many licenses around the world that you can definitely make that comparative analysis, right?
Yeah. Besides Hong Kong, we have licenses in Australia, in Spain, and recently we get the IPA in Dubai, and we are preparing the license in US and Singapore.
That's right. Andrew, from your perspective, as you said, you're a partner, a tech vendor into this space. Maybe your perspective is, that makes your perspective more objective. What do you find to be, if I can ask you to be very concrete, what are elements of the proposals that you find particularly helpful and maybe particularly debatable?
Yeah, so I think from our perspective, we have the benefit, of working through regulators and policy, everything from US Market Structure Bill, MICA, DORA, UAE, different regulators, Singapore and Hong Kong as well. And, we get to have this sort of, 1 degree of separation view via trusted partners who are custodians and actually licensed as well. So I think from everything that I've seen, it's a very positive step in the right direction. In Hong Kong, you know, especially if we contrast it with what's happening globally as well, I think opening up and consistently, steadily opening up with checks and balances is the right move. I think, you know, we also would like to see a little bit more flexibility to your point on what else, just around, you know, the different types of custody technology. That would be beneficial.
We will not disagree with you on that one.
I think you'd be aligned on that one. So we'd like to see a little bit more flexibility there, but we can see the progression here as well. So for us, it's really, you know, each time is it logically progressing in the right direction, and we definitely see that out of Hong Kong.
Thanks. I guess on that note, Eugene, the VATPs have been subject to guidance on custodial requirements. Arguably, that's one of the data points that the regulators are now looking at to presumably learn some lessons on how that guidance has been rolled out on the market. What, in your opinion, are the lessons to be learned from these requirements?
About the custodian license?
About the requirements that come with the custodial responsibility in Hong Kong.
I mean, that's very interesting questions. So okay, let me explain a little bit. So what we have today, we have a VATP license in Hong Kong. VATP is a trading platform, but at the same time, we do have a custodian license, but so basically custodian license under, we do have a TCSP, so which is like a trust license that a lot of people have. But on top of that, in order for us to provide the custodian service to our customers, we were subject to also the rules basically provided by the SFC. So basically, we are under SFC regulation in terms of the custodian. Yeah. So I think the lesson, I mean, it's not a lesson. I would say it's a lesson. I think we did share a lot of things with our regulator in terms of the custodian business. To be honest, at the very beginning, I think everybody just want to play the safe side. So basically, I think that maybe I didn't get an exact number, but around like 98% of the asset had to be held by the HSM. They at the moment, the regulator, they are still not very comfortable with the MCP. So we actually working with a lot of a staking provider, and then it's also a quite long education process to help them understand that, you know, what is staking about, slashing risk, etc. So, of course, I mean, I kind of mixed feeling right now because we do have the license. We actually put a lot of effort to acquire the license, maintain a license, right? Yeah. But meanwhile, we also want to see there's more flexibilities that allow us to do the business, right? And also to lower the cost. I mean, the custody itself, the business actually is definitely not like extremely profitable business, especially like for us, we also have to provide insurance costs. Yeah. So I think in general, to summarize, it's like I think we actually also provide, we have a lot of active conversation with the SFC about how the custodian business can be, right? Of course, the safety is very, very important. But meanwhile, we hope there's some flexibilities that in terms of the token they can custody, and then how the custodian asset able to be protected, right? And then and how the custodian able to have some kind of a safe way to integrate, let's say, even the more like a staking or DeFi business, yeah.
Georgia, maybe same question to you.
Sure. Maybe I'll take a step back, right? Why are we even sitting here and discussing digital assets? We are because they're not going to go away. I think we all believe and buy into that this is the next stage of financial infrastructure. So business viability is extremely important if we are to not just embrace it as innovation, but also innovation with a purpose, and that purpose being that Hong Kong, in this specific case, will thrive as a result of allowing businesses to thrive within the country. So lessons learned. Regulation need to enable businesses, allow businesses to actually operate in a way that it's actually doable, it's feasible, right? Think about custody for a second. Imagine if there were capital requirements that were a percentage of AUC. That could change overnight, right? How can we work with that? So business viability and of course investor protection always are the two key factors to, in my opinion, to keep in mind and really think about when crafting regulation. So I think there was a big lesson learned with the VATP framework when it first came out. And I do have a sense that for the custody one, this has definitely been taken into account, and there has been meaningful learnings there. Yeah, I think that's for me.
Thank you. Thank you both. I appreciate your candor in these remarks. I'll move on to a different topic. So it's been 20 minutes on our panel without talking about stablecoins. I think we've made a record for this year without bringing up this topic. So I'll break that record now. We've heard it, of course, time and time again that Hong Kong has certain ambitions around Hong Kong dollar-backed stablecoins. How do these ambitions translate to your businesses and your business models? Ethan, maybe I'll start with you.
Yeah, thank you. I think the Hong Kong stablecoin and the VATP regime is very good. And think about it, the stablecoin is actually the backbone for the whole the institutional infrastructures. So under the Hong Kong stablecoin regime, after maybe the next Q1 next year, when the stablecoin issued in Hong Kong, and a lot of the Hong Kong VATPs, the Type 1 brokers, can support more institutionals flow into this space. And as from our side, the challenge for us is that we are enlarge our teams. We cannot fund enough the compliance and legal and risk management talent into this space. And I think this is the same for all the also the institutionals in the Hong Kong market. I'll stop here.
Thanks. Andrew?
Yeah, so stablecoins is, for us, we've made a heavy bet on stablecoins. Earlier this year, we acquired a DeFi connectivity company, as I mentioned, from Cumberland, which has given us, because we see the future of staking is moving into a broader earn strategy, and that's what our largest customers are asking us for. So we've got our staking business and APIs and 40-odd protocols. We acquired a DeFi connectivity company that's given us another 170-odd endpoints, and then we built a unified SDK and then a no-code widget on top. So we're enabling the largest institutions to come in at different layers of our stack. In there, we've got partnerships with Aave, Morpho. We do a lot with Circle. We do a lot with Tether, and so we're able to offer large institutions a way to work out earn and yield in an extremely compliant, regulatory compliant, secure framework as well. For example, you can come in at any layer. If you're in the US, you tick, oh no, I can only do stuff if it's OFAC compliant. You tick that, obviously the selection's gonna narrow, but then you've got clean, secure institutional pipes into a broader earn strategy. So we see a lot of demand on this front as well, as people are looking for yield, but they want to get it in a safe, secure manner as well. So that strategy is going really well for us. We've got that product. Like I said, Cumberland is actually still the largest customer because they built it because they wanted a way to earn and trade in a compliant manner. So we've taken that from them and we've been able to scale it through our, well over 400 institutional channels as well. So it's been a really exciting time, specifically for us, on how we help institutions, on the earn strategy when it comes to stablecoins.
And just to be clear, you foresee being able to roll out this strategy for Hong Kong dollar stablecoins eventually?
Would like to get to that point as well. I think we're still working through, as Eugene said, we're still working through some of the staking kind of, pieces here. We're super confident that, the regulator will see like how we deliver staking from a security and compliance perspective, and like that'll all be fine and get worked out. Then the next step is to work through this piece as well. Yeah.
Thank you for being open about it. Eugene?
Stablecoin, right? I mean, stablecoin is really huge for us OSL. I mean, we are very happy to see like the stablecoin getting a lot of attention. Honestly, just last maybe 18 months, right? Like I remember I attended Token 24/9, maybe like four years in a row, right? Really until this year, like almost every single big event, people talk about stablecoin. It didn't really happen before in the past 2 years. So I think stablecoin is very, very important for us because as a regulated exchanges, that's actually our strength. That's our key edges because we're able to get license. We're able to use our license to connect the real world and the stablecoin. Because eventually you still need to do on-ramp or off-ramp, right? I mean, otherwise, of course, maybe in the future, nobody care about the fiat, but at least these days, we still, your upstream, your supplier, or either your buyer, one side still say, okay, you need to give me a fiat instead of purely a set stablecoin, right? So what we've been doing right now is, like, as I mentioned before, we're getting our license. We actually, this announcement, we acquired this company called Bensa, which already have a license in the 40 countries. So this is not an easy work because every single license you acquire, there's a lot of changes, approval from the regulator, you have to find the right people, fire the wrong people, etc. There's a number of things that need to be done. It's all the hard work, but eventually what we try to do, we try to build this whole global infrastructure. And the best product we want to start with definitely is stablecoin, right? Because it's a payment first. When the payment come in, and then we talk about investment, we talk about lending, right? What we see is stablecoin is actually the very, very crucial tools. It's not only like payment, it's actually revamping or changing the entire financial infrastructure, right? That will release a lot of efficiency in terms of capital, in terms of save time, etc. So that's why we think today, honestly, OSL is really about stablecoin. We are not really particular about like issue our own stablecoin, but instead of like we want to be infrastructure. The way how we say like we don't have to be the main player, but we just sell the water, we sell the shovel. Yeah, that's what we'll try to do.
If I can just follow up, so is it the payments use case or the capital market settlement use case that you're more excited about?
I think those come to hand, right? I mean, the payment will come first. It's just like a bank. You use them to pay, then I will sell you some, investment product, eventually maybe even insurance product, right? So definitely we see the hand in hand with the stablecoin and also the RWA. But of course, there's a lot of RWA. But today we still focus on like money market fund. I think we just want to do a simple thing for the clients, like okay, you can instantly convert your stablecoin to a year-bearing asset. I think you can do that, especially at the institution level. That's already can help a lot of clients to increase their profit.
Okay. Georgia?
I think a lot has been said, but I really like what Eugene mentioned about how stable coins are really the best positioned element out of digital assets to really be the link between the financial system that we know today and the open blockchain financial system that will probably become the de facto one tomorrow. A couple of numbers on stable coins. I think we are at 300 billion TVL, many trillions of dollars in volumes the first part of the year. I think 30% of on-chain transactions are stable coin. And more we're seeing use cases advancing, and I think it's, for us as a custodian, stablecoins need wallets, so that's really our key role. And also, then next step, back to Andrew's point, once you have stablecoin, you want to put them to work. So from a custodian perspective, we want to enable that connectivity and access to pieces of infrastructure like the one Blockdaemon has, where you can get rewards from your stablecoin. And then there are other, maybe a bit more peculiar use cases where, for example, we are working with one of the, stablecoin projects in Hong Kong. They're looking to get licensed to be an independent third-party signer in minting and burning transactions. So we are a co-signer in their quorum. So to add also that level of, okay, you have a third-party independent, assessment when you're signing and you're minting that checks that you can actually mint what you're trying to mint.
Okay.
So there are some, interesting use cases in virtue of the fact that we hold the private keys, so we've effectively signed things. So this is our role, and we're incredibly excited about Hong Kong and the ambition that Hong Kong is showing for stablecoin.
It's an interesting point to have your custodian as a part of the governance structure, basically, right? So you don't have you don't accidentally end up minting things that you don't want to mint, for example.
Gee, we're seeing that requirement come up globally. More and more institutions are asking about this specific requirement, dual signing from the custodian. Yeah.
Any questions from the audience? I promise I'll come back to you. I am coming back to you. I've been told not to do this in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong audiences are very quiet. Are you going to prove the stereotype right or wrong? All right.
Angelina, come on.
Okay. With all the announcements that Elizabeth made, one of them when I was interviewing her at FinTech Week, and the new custody regime, whose regulations have not been issued right now, if all of you could have your wish list for the future, and assuming someone here is from the regulator, what, if anything, would you want on your Christmas wish list? Because it's now October. If you could ask for anything. Oh, it's November. Yes, it's November. I don't even know what day it is.
Christmas music in stores already.
Yes.
How many items on the list? Top 3 or like how long?
Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you. So why don't you ask for your top 5? And we should write it down and start working on it with Web3 Harbour in terms of custody, and how can we grow out Hong Kong's regime and help it even more. Because Eric is really on a run now to try to make Hong Kong better, and at least they bloody launched the OTC, the flow stuff. So that's a massive change. So how can we help Hong Kong? How can we help the SFC and give them some ideas? So let's go for the top 5 since they're all 5 of you. Is that an okay question?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'll go, right? So what we'd like to see is staking regulated in with a very high bar for security and compliance and governance and all the due diligence done. We would also like to see stablecoin earn yield-based capabilities. Again, extremely high bar, regulatory compliance.
Stablecoin is a problem because of HKMA.
Yeah, you asked for the wish list, though.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Right, so like...
You didn't define who Santa was.
And then, a little bit of open-mindedness about custody tech and different models.
Top one. Don't take everybody else's wishes, all right? Go down
You
the
got
line.
3. Okay, if we have 8, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Is somebody writing this down? Because I've got stuff. Okay, Yumi's writing it. Okay, next.
I mean, I don't want to go into very particular. I think the best thing, one thing you mentioned is like, maybe there should be some like a special task force endorsed by the government, so can put
We have one in Web3 Harbour.
No, but I think that's more like, I mean like basically people like Hong Kong MA or SFC or everybody even the SFC different department, they send a representative, right? And a special task force. And also not only about the crypto, also about, let's say, the ETF, even the traditional financial, maybe even Hong Kong yes people can send people there, right? So, and they can represent a whole group. And we only need to talk to one group of people to solve off the problem. Instead of like, you want to get something done, I'll talk to MA first, talk to SFC, okay, they have different department, right? Even now, I have to talk to the custom, right? for some AML stuff, right? So we have to do a lot of education, and then like, of course, they're a regulator, right? We have to bow, respect, and at the same time, it's like, you know, it's just like, it's actually, that I feel like costs a lot of time for us to get things done.
In fairness, I am a member of the Financial Services Development Council. So the whole reason why crypto, after I left BitMEX, was crypto was even discussed because there was a group of us that went to meet with FSDC, and we did it in secret, and they wrote the report, and then they started pushing it up in the government. FSDC is one form, and we can get Rocky and King, and we can sponsor a lunch and sit down with them to discuss this. And they can take it through a nice way. That's one way of doing it. Web3 Harbour has its Web3 Harbour working groups right now. And I have to say, Eric has been really, really helpful in this. So that's a second way. The third way is to have a roundtable with Chris Hui and Joseph and people like that. So that's a third way. And then, of course, the way that we did it with FinTech Week, all the panelists and things like that, that's another way too. But if you like them all, then we can go with all of these different routes. But we should have a very coherent plan if you're going to go to government. And we should probably agree as an industry of what's the most important before you go to the government, because they don't have a lot of time. And you know now that LegCo is now going to be full of very not versed with financial services people, because they're changing the people that used to be in LegCo. So passing laws is going to be difficult, or may be difficult, because you have to teach them again. So that's just a comment from me. But we can bring it up in FSDC. If you guys are interested in doing this, then we should get Web3 Harbour can get a meeting together, and we can start doing this.
So the Web3 Harbour gonna grant my wish.
What's your wish?
There you go.
Did you get a wish?
Georgia.
Did you write a wish? Oh, okay.
So, wish list item. When it comes to third-party payments or transactions to third party, crypto custody, digital asset custody is so fundamentally different. You sign a transaction, you can do so many things. What about smart contract interactions? What about, what if you're borrowing and lending on a decentralized marketplace? How does that work? Staking, governance voting through blockchain. My wish list item is that there should be openness to understand the difference between traditional custody and digital asset custody, to the point that digital asset custody is the future of custody, in virtue of the fact that we will be tokenizing everything, and stablecoin will be the cash leg in the future. So we need to start sooner rather than later to talk about all these use cases and have that open-mindedness on allowing that. Because first of all, it's very difficult to limit them, but also if you limit too hard, then again, you impair business. So, yeah.
I mean, not to join in on your Christmas wish, but the way we kind of sometimes formulate this, look, a token is a token. It doesn't matter what it represents. You steal it and you lose it the same way, right? There is probably some conversations to kind of establish the significance of these requirements onto the broader capital markets. Eugene?
Oh, Ethan. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Ethan.
It's okay.
We do look alike. I know.
Sorry.
We can see.
Sorry.
Okay. Actually, I have two wishes in my list. The first one is the day before yesterday, SFC just released the circular about allowing the VATPs to share the liquidities between the overseas
the overseas flow, yeah.
Yeah, VATPs. So as a prime broker operator at multiple jurisdictions, we hope the next step, SFT will allow the regulators, the brokers can share the liquidities between Hong Kong and the overseas liquidity pools. I think
So your Christmas wish was granted early, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and the second one is that we see more and more institutions want to participate in the DeFi protocol. But because of the regulatory concerns, they don't know. Right now, for the DeFi protocol, most of them is still struggling with the KYC ML issues. They don't know where, for the institutional traders, and they don't know who they are trading with. So I think the Hong Kong regulators, they can take the initiative onto how to regulate these DeFi protocols. That will make the regulatory clarities for the institution to participate more on the DeFi protocol.
We should put that on the list.
Fair point, thank you.
Because DeFi should be on the list. But I have to tell you, reality, I work with different securities commissions. And there's something called IOSCO, which is the International Organization of Securities Commissions. They've stopped all work on DeFi. I haven't seen any new publications or any work or anything on DeFi. And it was a really hot topic for a while, and now they've sort of like fallen asleep.
Yeah.
So it's time to poke the bear, I guess.
The team is like trying to sing us off stage, so I'll stop it here. But fair point, DeFi is not an easy one. I'll go with abuse my moderator privilege with my Christmas wish list. I would say probably asking for genuine tech neutrality on rules, right? I mean, I'm a scholar of financial regulation. 98.2 is not tech neutral. Picking technologies or effectively picking technology solutions is not tech neutrality. It is much harder to supervise that way. We have all the empathy for not only the regulators here, but everywhere else in the world. But our principal concern is that when you force a technology choice, you actually create a sense of false security. Because you focus on that technology choice, you get your eye off other vulnerabilities, and bad things happen. So I will end on that point, if you allow me. Thank you, everybody, for joining me on the panel, and thanks for the audience for sticking with us.
Thank you very much, panelists. Do you mind standing for one final group photo?